Once you've completed all the information on the product, you can now move to information on packaging. Now it's worth pointing out on ConVert that you move using these buttons across the top. So I've completed all my product, I now want to go to packaging. When I click on this button, it takes me to the next page, which is packaging. The tool itself saves everything that you've inputted as soon as you press one of those buttons. So don't be worried that you've moved from one page to the next and not explicitly pressed a save button. It will not have lost anything you've put into the tool. So the process to input data on packaging is pretty much exactly the same as product. So you would put information about your packaging components. So this particular piece of POP has what we call top and bottom caps. So we give that title, again that's just a description. We choose a material from our list, and in this case it's cardboard. So it's a cardboard top and bottom cap. The cardboard caps weigh a total of 400 grams. So that's for both of them. What you're specifying here is a top and a bottom cap. You could create the components separately and specify a top cap and a bottom cap and put the specific weights in. But because they're made of exactly the same material and use the same process, you can put them in as one piece, really. We know from our supplier of cardboard that it's 65% recycled content. And then we have a general list of processes which apply to cardboard. So here we're going to say that we die cut it. And we don't put any other process in here. We don't particularly print this card or add any more information to it. So it's just a die cut piece of cardboard. Again, we could, for example, if we did print, we could choose a printing process. That will be a secondary process, but in this case, we don't do that. So again, I'll just change that back to none. Supplier location, again, we source this particular piece of cardboard item in the UK. And as it did with the last one, it defaults to a road delivery system. So exactly the same way as before. Press the green button, create a component. And you will see now, as we did with the product, you have information here about your packaging components. Again, it asks for volumes. So the total volume of the packaging components you need to input into there, another figure. So for example, in this case, again, centimeters cubed, it might be, because it's a top and a bottom cap, the packaging will be of a lower volume than the product, because it's basically just a piece around the top and bottom of the product. So we might say, for example, it might be, just to put a figure in there, 2,000 centimeters cubed. What the tool also helps you assess is the impacts and differences of using reusable packaging. So what you can tell the tool is how many times you would use a pack. So if you operate a returnable packaging system, whereby you deliver your product in a pack which is then taken back and used again for another delivery, you can specify this, and this will have an effect on the overall result. In this particular case, it's 2 cardboard caps that are specific to that product, so it only gets used once. So we put that data in. If you then have extra packaging, so if you're making smaller pieces of POP, and they may be bundled together in boxes, you may send 10 or 20 out in a single box, then you can put this information here on secondary packaging. So again, it allows you to build up the whole picture of your total packaging used, done in exactly the same way, component names, materials, weights, processes, etc. Then down at the bottom here, there's questions on, again, its efficiency of packaging. How many units of your primary pack fit into your secondary pack? We're not using secondary packaging in this case, so we leave this blank. If, for example, you packaged 10 items and put them into an outer box, you would, in this part here, put 10, because you have 10 items in a secondary packaging box. And again, you would put information on how big that packaging is and how many times that packaging is used. Once you've completed all this data, that's the information you need for packaging, and you will now move on to the next life cycle stage of the product, which is use. Once again, we will be using the buttons across the bottom. And again, remember, as soon as I press the button to move off the page, everything is saved.